Good morning, I'm meteorologist Jeff Gerber. Thanks for joining our stream here on this Monday morning. We're going to go to about 11:45. We'll give you a good look at the weather for this afternoon and over the next 7 days. Really not much of a chance of rain, I can tell you that right now. There is a couple of showers possible through the next 2 or 3 days, but after that it looks pretty dry for the weekend, which is, a lot of people want it dry for the weekend so they can get out and get things done. Also, we'll take a look at the tropics. There's only one thing right now the Hurricane Center is watching, and that's way out in the eastern Atlantic, and it looks like it's not going to be affecting the Gulf or the east coast of the U.S. or anywhere in the U.S. So that's some good news too, but we'll update you on that. Remember, hurricane season goes all the way towards the end of November, so we're going to keep our eye out there, especially through the first half, I guess you can say the first half of October, as we're watching out in the Atlantic, in the Gulf, the Caribbean for any type of development. But right now, everything looks pretty good through the next 7 to 10 days. Here's our rest of the day forecast as we look right here around southeast Texas, putting in a 20% chance of maybe an isolated shower popping up. Don't expect a whole lot out there, just very isolated showers. We'll get up close to 90 and still be holding close to the upper 80s as we head towards 6 o'clock this evening, with some partly cloudy skies, and then by 10 o'clock expect to see temperatures falling back into those upper 70s. Overnight we're looking at lows anywhere from the upper 60s towards the lakes into the lower 70s here in the triangle. So right around 70 degrees, kind of like what we've seen the last couple of mornings. So pretty comfortable in the mornings, afternoons. Yeah, a little bit hot as we get to about 90. Allergy report kind of all over the place for today, anywhere from low on grass to high on weed, and then tree and mold are on the medium side. So if you're sniffing or sneezing a little bit, maybe weed is your problem out there. At least that's the high one for today. And grass is a little bit low, so that's good as well. All right, let's take a look outside. We have partly cloudy skies that have developed across the area. Had some mostly clear skies in some spots this morning. Now some of these clouds are starting to build just a little bit. Here's the view from Packer the Prairie, downtown Beaumont, as we look at the skyline of Beaumont on our Roofing 911 live Skycam network. Currently 83 degrees, humidity at 69%, with a little bit of an east and southeasterly wind around 2 to 3 miles an hour. We'll switch to our 12 News studio. We have a camera outside on one of our broadcast towers, and it's facing off towards the east. You can see downtown Beaumont just to the kind of bottom left of your screen over there. You can see the buildings in downtown Beaumont kind of sticking up a little bit. This camera is brought to you by Mid-County Plumbing. Once again, some partly cloudy skies developing across the Beaumont area, and well, like I said, a couple of those could develop enough that we might see a little random shower popping up later on this afternoon, maybe very early evening, but nothing widespread. Nothing I think you even have to worry about rain gear, really. If you catch one of these showers this afternoon, it won't last very long. Here's a look over towards Lake Charles, same type of deal. As we look at the port of Lake Charles and across the lake there, on the other side of the port, you can see downtown Lake Charles just a little bit, but same deal for them. Once again, they're looking at maybe a couple of showers for today with those partly cloudy skies, and looking at highs today near 90. We'll go from the upper 80s in the lakes to some lower 90s here, say from I-10 southward. Same deal over towards parts of southwest Louisiana. Another hot day for them, even though we're now starting to get into October. Our average high this time of year, about 85 degrees, 85, 86 degrees right now. So we need to be cooling down just a little bit. We just haven't seen it as of yet. Hopefully we get a good cold front to come through here over the next couple of weeks and get us back to where we should be temperature-wise. Here's a look up towards Jasper, partly cloudy skies in Jasper. This camera brought to you by Provalis, part of that Roofing 911 Live Skycam network. And looking fairly quiet on the streets up there in Jasper. A few cars here and there. Off in the distance there, you can see those cars moving through that intersection. That is actually Highway 69 that a lot of people use to go up into the lakes area this time of year, or any time of the year, I guess you can say. But yeah, 69 heading up into the lakes, and if you're heading maybe farther north than that, up into parts of North Texas. And we'll stop one more time here towards Port Arthur, and looking at the camera over there with partly to mostly cloudy skies, maybe a few more clouds down towards the coast. This camera brought you by Market Basket. So, but still lots of sunshine you can see down there on the college campus there in Port Arthur. All right, let's take a look at what's going on temperature-wise, and we're working our way up into the 80s, some middle 80s towards the lakes already. 84 Jasper, 84 Woodville, and then 85 right now in Kirbyville. 83 Silsbee, Beaumont's at 82, Port Arthur's at 83, and then Orange has already climbed to about 86. So starting to see those temperatures warm up As over towards Houston, we're about 85. And Lake Charles, we were looking at there, about 83 degrees. DeQuincy's 80, and then Huntsville currently at about 84. Here's a weather map for this morning. We have a couple of different areas of fronts. We have one front that's moving through the Texas Panhandle, brought some rain up there earlier this morning. This is the cold front we're waiting to go through as we head towards late Wednesday, maybe into early Thursday. It won't bring us much in the way of rain. It won't bring us really much except some drier air, but slightly cooler on the backside of that, and you'll see that in the 7-day forecast. Highs will be just a little bit cooler by a couple of degrees. Then we have this area of low pressure that's working its way up basically right along the state line of Mississippi and Louisiana, and it's been bringing some pretty heavy rain to parts of Louisiana this morning. They had a flash flood warning just towards the west of or just to the east of Baton Rouge earlier this morning. Looks like the rain has let up there now, but you can still see some heavy rains heading up towards Jackson, and they got some heavy rains up near the Memphis area, heading up into Jonesboro there, up in the northeastern parts of Arkansas. So some pretty wet weather there, and scattered showers towards New Orleans, over towards, looks like Mobile there. On the tail end of this little front, sticking on the backside of this low, seeing a couple of showers along coastal Texas, but nothing too big there. And some of these, as this drifts northward, this front lifts a little bit farther north, and that could help with maybe a formation, a couple of showers around here. So that's why we put in 20% chance of some rain today. Let's look around the rest of the country, see what's going on weather-wise. And you can see across the Intermountain West Coast, very quiet there. Nothing going on, nothing as far as any rain or anything like that. Very quiet conditions as you head out towards the western states. East Coast also not too bad, from New England all the way down to the Carolinas looks quiet, but then once you get into Georgia, into Florida, there are a few showers that have been popping up on the eastern side of Florida. It looks like some heavy stuff through parts of central Florida. And then there's that low pressure I was just showing you. Also up into the Midwest, it looks like not too far from Kansas City, they're seeing some showers and thunderstorms. Omaha maybe getting some showers and thunderstorms. Des Moines maybe also getting in on some rain for this morning. Looks like it's staying just south of the Dakotas. Minneapolis staying out of the rain, but that batch of rain looks like that disturbance is sliding up. Might be maybe I don't know about St. Louis, but maybe Chicago late today into tonight, as some of that rain heads off towards the north and east. But around the country, there are some spots of rain. But like I said, West Coast looks pretty dry. All right, here's a look at our futurecast. Futurecast showing temperatures into the upper 80s, around 90 degrees for this afternoon. Can't rule out a spotty shower here or there popping up through maybe 5, 6 o'clock. Then things should die down. As we head towards 10 o'clock, temperatures back into the upper 70s. Overnight, we'll see that mix of some 60s and 70s across the area. More likely, you'll see those 60s north, 70s south. And then as we get into your Tuesday, we start off there around 70 degrees. By lunchtime, we'll be middle 80s. And then once again, we'll climb to around 90 degrees as we get into the afternoon. Can't rule out a couple of showers tomorrow as well. We'll go 20%. All right, as we take a look out in the tropics, there's only one thing the Hurricane Center is watching. That's this disturbance well out in the Atlantic. It's way out here. Not too organized right now, but you can see a pretty good cluster of disorganized showers and thunderstorms out there. They're thinking that this one's probably going to go about the same way as the last few have, where it comes up to the north and west and then goes around a big ridge of high pressure that's parked out over parts of the eastern Atlantic, kind of spins up and around it and keeps it away from the east coast, keeps it away from the Gulf. Something looks like we're not going to have to worry about. We're going to keep our eye on it, though, keep you updated just because it's out there. If it does become a tropical system, its name will be Jerry. And right now, they're going a good chance of maybe some development there with this system. So 50% over the next 48 hours and then 70% over the next 70 days. So we could see our next named storm coming up into the Atlantic. Like I said, if you hear about Jerry, I wouldn't worry too much about it because, like I said, it doesn't even look like it's coming close to the East Coast or the Gulf. So we'll continue to watch it, but I don't think we'll have to worry about too much about that. Still need to watch the Caribbean, the Gulf. We still have time this hurricane season. It goes all the way through the end of November, as I was talking about. And even into October, you could catch maybe a storm developing somewhere, especially we're still pretty warm temperature-wise and everything. Out in the Gulf, the water temperature still above 80 degrees, so there still is potential for something to develop and still thrive in the Gulf with the water temperature still above that 80-degree mark. So we'll watch, but right now it looks pretty quiet the next 7 to 10 days. You don't have to worry about anything. So the deeper into October we go, the cooler the temperatures get, the least chance we have for maybe some development out there. All right, our coastal marine forecast for today looks like an east to southeasterly wind, 5 to 10 knots along the coast, seas around 2 feet. Right now at Texas Point, we are seeing those east to southeasterly winds around 3 to 6 miles per hour. Water temperature there in the middle 80s. Like I said, it's still above 80 degrees out there into the Gulf. Mostly smooth on the inland lakes and bays, so maybe not a bad day for the boat if you have your Monday off. I wouldn't worry too much about those isolated showers we have in the forecast for today. Our high tide at 3:43 this afternoon. Our sunset is at 6:55, so our sunsets are before 7 p.m. now. Days are getting shorter, and they'll continue to get shorter until we get to the winter solstice, which is late in December. Then days start getting longer. But right now, looking at days getting shorter and shorter out there. All right, our forecast for today, partly cloudy. We'll go 20% coverage throughout the area, maybe an isolated shower here or there. A little bit of a northeast to east wind between 3 and 8 miles per hour. And you can see upper 80s towards the lakes, some lower 90s here around the triangle. It's going to be a hot afternoon. And then as we go towards tonight, no rain expected, but mostly clear skies, light and variable winds, and temperatures dropping back down into the upper 60s towards the lakes. We could see some of those upper 60s as well towards inland southeast Texas. And we'll be looking at some lower 70s here around the triangle. So not too bad a start tomorrow morning, pretty comfortable. I wouldn't be surprised to see a few 60s, maybe drop down as far as Beaumont. It seems like the municipal airport west of Beaumont always a little bit cooler. I got 70, but I wouldn't be surprised to see 69, 68 there for tomorrow morning. All right, our 7-day forecast calling for temperatures around 90 all the way through Thursday, and a small chance of rain today, Tuesday and Wednesday. Each day the atmosphere not exactly stable enough that we could maybe produce a shower here or there, something isolated. Like I said, majority of folks won't see any rain through this next 7 days, but there'll be some lucky folks to get a little bit of rain on their lawn here over the next 2 or 3 days. So keep your fingers crossed if you want to see a little bit of rain. And I think at this point a lot of folks do. We're 7.5 inches behind, at least down there in mid-county where the airport is. So we could use some rainfall. Typically October, not the wettest month out there, but hopefully we can catch some rain sometime or another. As we look towards Thursday and Friday, a drier forecast as that front comes through, keeps our afternoon highs down a little bit, upper 80s, maybe 90, but like I said, it won't be a big drop off from the afternoon highs. Where we'll see the big drop off is in the lows. Our dew points come down with that drier air, and that allows our morning lows to drop a little bit lower. So instead of 71, 72, we'll see temperatures back down into the middle 60s for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And that's in the triangle here. That means that the morning lows up towards the lakes are going to be even cooler. We could see some lower 60s there, 61, 62, maybe 60 degrees towards places up towards maybe Newton, up towards Jasper, places like that. So a little bit cooler, a little bit more comfortable. All right, we're going to wrap up our stream. I don't think I've shown the phone number real quick. If we can pull up the phone number real quick. If you have a question for us, 409-749-9302. You can text us to that phone, and we'll try to get back with you as quick as we can. We check the phone during the morning, during the evenings, and if we have a question, we'll try to get back to you as quick as we can. Don't call the phone. We don't answer the phone. It's not set up to take calls, but definitely we could take your text if you have a question about anything weather-wise across southeast Texas. All right, we're going to wrap up this stream. We'll do this every morning between